Hey peeps! Today, we're diving into the awesome world of every birth generation. From the tough lost generation to the tech gurus of Generation Alpha, get ready for a quick tour of each crew. Lost generation. Let me take you on a ride through history, starting with the Lost Generation, born between 1883 and 1900. It's like stepping out of a Wild War movie, but instead of a happy ending, the world is in chaos. These guys went through World War I, and when they came back, everything was topsy-turvy. Think about it like this. You've been through a crazy battle, seen friends go, families torn apart. The world feels like it's been flipped upside down, and you're trying to make sense of it all. That's how the Lost Generation felt, lost and disconnected, just like the name suggests. But here's the cool part. They didn't just sit around feeling sorry for themselves. Nope, these guys were like real-life superheroes. Despite facing tough times, they rolled up their sleeves and got to work rebuilding. It's like they were solving a giant puzzle without all the pieces. Greatest Generation. Let's talk about the Greatest Generation, born between 1901 and 1927. These were the real MVPs, dealing with a tough 1-2 punch. First, they tackled the Great Depression. Imagine a time when money was tight and the future felt uncertain. Just when they thought things might get better, bam! World War II showed up. But guess what? These guys weren't the type to back down. They stepped up to the plate like true champions. And not only were they heroes on the battlefield, but they were also like everyday superheroes. The Greatest Generation fought on the front lines, made big sacrifices, and showed incredible strength during one of the trickiest times ever. And get this, they didn't stop there. After the war, they played a huge role in shaping the world. They were like the architects of the post-war economic boom, making everything better for everyone. Silent Generation. Shh! It's the Silent Generation. Not because they're quiet, but because they were born between 1928 and 1945. Imagine this. Great Depression, World War II, and a bunch of hard-working traditional folks just trying to make sense of it all. During their formative years, the world was going through some major turbulence. The Great Depression hit, and it was like a financial earthquake, shaking up everything. Money was tight, jobs were scarce, and families had to tighten their belts just to get by. The Silent Generation grew up during a time when the world was grappling with the chaos of war. These folks were hardworking and traditional, shaped by the challenges of their time. They were the backbone of post-war rebuilding efforts. Baby Boomers. Get ready for a blast from the past. It's time to talk about the baby boomers, born between 1946 and 1964. Boom, baby! Why the boom, you ask? Well, after World War II, people were feeling optimistic, and that optimism led to an explosion of newborns. It's like a party after a long, tough time. The war was over, and folks were ready to celebrate. That celebration translated into a significant increase in births. It's like the population graph went, boom! Economic prosperity played a big role too. The post-war era brought about stability and a sense of security, which made people more confident about starting families. It was a time of growth, both in terms of families and the economy. Generation X. Let's dive into the era of flannel shirts and cassette tapes. It's time to talk about Generation X, born between 1965 and 1980. Slap on some grunge and get ready to meet the latchkey kids. Growing up in the shadow of the Cold War, Generation X witnessed a world on edge, where the threat of nuclear war loomed large. But hey, it wasn't all doom and gloom. They also saw the rise of MTV, where music videos became the hottest thing since sliced bread. It was an era of neon-colored fanny packs, scrunchies, and Walkmans blasting the latest hits. These folks were the original DIYers, the kings and queens of making things happen with what they had. They were the latchkey kids, coming home to empty houses after school with a key dangling around their necks like a badge of independence. Generation XXers grew up in a time of rapid technological advancement. From the birth of the personal computer to the dawn of the internet age, they were the pioneers of the digital revolution, embracing new technologies and paving the way for the tech-savvy generations to come. But it wasn't just about gadgets and gizmos. Generation X was also known for their rebellious spirit and alternative culture. the generation that brought flannel shirts and Doc Martens into the mainstream. Millennials. Brace yourselves because we're diving into the era of emojis and high-speed internet. It's time to meet the Millennials, the OG digital natives. Picture it, the dial-up tone echoing through the house, the struggle of sharing the family computer, and the sheer excitement of hearing, "You've got mail!" These were the moments that defined a millennial's childhood. Born in the wake of the 80s, millennials witnessed the rise of the internet. They played Snake on their Nokia phones like it was an Olympic sport, navigating the tiny screen with unmatched skill. And who could forget the Y2K scare? It was like the world collectively held its breath as the clock struck midnight on New Year's Eve in the year 2000. Millennials are the ones who saw the transition from VHS to DVDs, from landlines to smartphones. They're the generation that adapted to the rapid pace of technological change, embracing the digital revolution with open arms. If you needed tech support, chances are you called a millennial to the rescue. Generation Z. Get ready to swipe right into the future because it's time to meet Generation Z, the true tech aficionados. Born between 1997 and 2012, these youngsters have never known a world without smartphones. They practically came out of the womb with touchscreens at their fingertips. Imagine growing up in a world where YouTube wasn't just a website, but a way of life. Generation Z is the YouTube generation, the ones who can tell you all about vlogging, ASMR, and unboxing videos. Their knowledge of memes is practically encyclopedic, and they've mastered the art of expressing themselves in 280 characters or less. But wait, there's more. These digital natives are the kings and queens of short-form content. If you need tips on how to create the perfect TikTok, just ask a Gen Zer. They've turned lip-syncing into an art form, and their dance moves can make your head spin faster than a fidget spinner. Born into a world of hashtags, filters, and Snapchat streaks, Generation Z has redefined the way we communicate. They've witnessed the power of social media to amplify voices and spark movements. Generation Alpha. Give it up for the babies on board. We're entering the era of Generation Alpha. Born from 2013 onward, these tiny tots are already making their mark in a world filled with virtual reality, AI, and let's be real, probably giving their parents tech support. Imagine cribs equipped with tablets, baby monitors with facial recognition, and bedtime stories read by artificial intelligence. Generation Alpha is growing up in a time where technology isn't just a tool, it's practically a playmate. These little tech prodigies are navigating a landscape where virtual reality is as common as crayons, and AI is more familiar than the family pet. The alphabet for them might as well start with AI, VR, and IoT. By the time they hit kindergarten, they'll probably be coding before they can tie their shoes. But it's not just about gadgets and gizmos. Generation Alpha is also being raised in a world where inclusivity, diversity, and global connectivity are the norm. And there you have it, the Generation Saga. From the Lost to the Alphas, each era brought something unique to the table. Keep on rolling through time, and stay tuned for more adventures in the world of generations. Unlock the world of curiosity. Subscribe to Pretty Nonsense for more mind-bending videos. Hit that subscribe button, and let's make sense out of the nonsense together. See you on our next stories. Watch more videos like this, check out our latest topics,